Hello, everybody, and welcome back to GSA's SM64 70-star tournament. And I am joined today by Electric. How are you doing?
Doing just fine. Just finished commentating an SMO any percent race, and I'm ready to just get back to the classics, watching the 70-star race. How are you doing today, Pitt?
I'm good. In Minnesota, we've been getting a snowstorm, so I'm kind of holed up in my room here. Getting out of the building might be pretty tough. I don't know what I'm gonna do about all the snow, but I don't know. Perhaps it's kind of like a CCM over here, an SL, and I could get some stars. I'm not sure yet. Uh,
Definitely
today
be on the
though,
lookout.
today though, we have Joe Random versus ktanenoob for this 70-star group stage race. And yeah, what do you think about this?
I'm thinking
How do you
it'll
think
be
it's
a
gonna
good race
go?
between these two guys. I've been looking forward to this. Both of them, I think, fairly evenly matched, but in a race environment, there are a lot of things that can happen. So
Yeah, we've seen upsets happen on many levels, and we've seen people uh we've seen some crazy things happen. So be ready for everything today or anything today.
absolutely. And speaking of your CCM situation, maybe go look for that in the deep freeze star just after checking out our
Mhm.
sponsor for this tournament, vi.gg. Exclamation point bet in the chat. You already know they will match up to 20 pounds on that first bet if it's a loss. Just thank them so much for sponsoring 3 tournaments for us within this just short time period before the end of the year. Remember, that's vi.gg, exclamation point bet in the chat.
Yeah, you can bet on it. You can bet on vi.gg, everybody.
Absolutely.
I don't know if we have our lads in the call because Discord's been a little bit weird for me. Can you let me know? Are we doing interviews?
No interviews. It looks like we're about to
All
get this
right.
race started.
Both of these gents just want to get right down to the action. Okay, there's no playing around. It is all business with these guys. They are ready to get at it. They're just too angry at each other to even exchange words. This is a very disrespectful match. Okay, the gloves are off. Shots below the belt, probably. I think you guys should be ready for a slugfest like you've never seen before.
Absolutely. The refs aren't even going to be able to catch anything on this one. I mean, if they call one thing, they're just going to let 3 other things slide during that time. But we got both these guys off, real quick synchronization happening, and they're ready to go.
So, Kate Noob, hiding part of the timer there on the layout might get an infraction from that. I'm not sure. Could be the restreamer. I don't know.
Definitely a bit suspicious hiding that 100th place on purpose.
Yeah,
What does he not
exactly.
want us to see?
Yeah, exactly. I think that, KT Noob might be preparing for the situation in which perhaps would lose by a couple hundredths of a second, but just, keeps it out and then can say later it was like a 0 instead of like a 9 and then barely wins by like a frame.
Exactly. Commentator bringing up
Unfair.
amazing points.
Unfair advantage here. But we do have some proper sync going on. It looks like we have the double emulator face-off here. English version is a go.
And already we see deferring techniques for Lakitu skip that result in them actually going in that door perfectly synced. Wow.
Yeah, we have some syncage going on here. It is pretty crazy. Perhaps, bought the sync from their local IKEA. I heard that they have great prices there. IKEA, please sponsor us. We are looking for more.
Especially that brush nickel. They do a great job on that in Sweden, honestly.
See, come on, IKEA. We're too good to pass up.
And I mean, look at how many syncs we're throwing into chat right now. I mean, there's completely sync getting out of Bomb on Battlefield, and they both had. I thought it was interesting. Joe Random going for that triple jump entry, ktanenoob, instead going for the long jump method. And
was it triple jump or was it just like double jump dive roll out?
it was double jump dive. Double jump dive. My bad. And
Yeah,
we do-
exactly. Commentator getting a little ahead of himself, giving people misinformation, perhaps being led astray. Electric might have another agenda on his mind today. Just keep an open mind, guys. Electric may be a little shady.
Hey, I came out of nowhere. No one really knows my history. I
what
wouldn't
is-
blame you.
What is your motive?
I don't know, but I also don't know how Joe Random just got that 13.2 there. Little bit of a bobble on that slide there. Let's see if ktanenoob. That's such a hard name to pronounce. honestly.
Ktanenoob, everybody at home. Yes, it is very hard. That's why I say it very slowly. But a nice Owlus from Argent in the right corner.
Yep, and that's one of the more difficult starts here under his belt. Going for texture setup for Cannonless.
Oh, and that's a miss.
You're gonna have to go for.
Unfortunate for Ktane. Yeah, that's like, I don't know, like a little less than 5 seconds in the hole. It's about 5.
Yeah, something like that. And going for the texture setup, it's not quite as bad as if you were just completely insane going for OG, but definitely, I feel like doing that sock folder setup is worth it for that consistency in a race. Joe Random making this cycle but missing that first coin.
What's really interesting is Joe was on the platform in time and then just was not lined up for the coin.
Right? And then missing that piranha plan.
Yeah,
Man.
missed the piranha, rubbing up against the wall. Yeah, Joe Random maybe not having the best 100 coin. Hitting the cycle can be really nice. Okay, Ktane just failing Cannonless yet again and doesn't have Wobble as a backup. See, I'm not quite sure about the whole texture setup thing. It's super fast. I do love it, but it seems like on average I've seen more people have troubles with it than I've seen banking on the couple seconds that they gain from it.
Right. I've mainly seen successes from our huge runners like Cheese, for instance. They're the ones that get probably like a 3 out of 4 reliability, but here we see 1 and 3.
So Ktane is now doing 100 coin, and what's interesting here is Ktane is going for half cycle movement here. So it's slower than the route that Joe Random did, but because of Joe Random's execution, Ktane can beat that out. But Ktane has missed 3 coins and hasn't grabbed any extras. I don't know what the play here is. I guess maybe an extra piranha plant, maybe the box. Let's see what he's up to. You might have more spares with this route, but I'm pretty sure he missed 3 and didn't get any extras. So I think he needs to grab an extra coin.
Yeah, grabbing that line at the beginning. Yeah, he's.
Oh wait, no. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Oh yeah, with that
wrong.
circle too.
Commentator, leading people astray, was criticizing Electric for it before as well, but might also have a hidden agenda.
Both commentators potentially playing both sides. Chat think for yourselves. Got to be critical.
Yeah, Ktane, already filing a suit against me for defamation on stream, has lost 2 followers and now will sue me for 2,000 of my followers. Might not hold up in court, but
the law is blind ultimately, and Twitch law is no exception.
I am hearing news that we are 32 followers off from 10,000 followers, and following the channel would be a very good thing. I don't know how many people here are not following the channel yet, but if you get 10,000, if you're the 10,000th follower, I will tweet out your name and say that I love you.
And that's pretty valuable.
Yeah.
I've actually had job interviews where they've asked if Pity has said that he's loved me before, and not quite.
Either that or I post like a funny picture and tag you in it. You can choose between either of those. I don't know, but follow our channel. Joe Random killing the Womp lad. Lord Womp of the Fortress is down. Ktanenoob finishing off Womps, but does not have that first slide star yet. So Ktane is actually a little bit behind, it seems, because that first slide star, it seems to take about 45 seconds. The Fortress star, including fade out, is not that long.
Right.
Might be about 15 seconds in Joe Random's favor if I had to guess.
Yeah, I'd say that sounds about right. Overall, good execution from Joe Random. The 100 coin left a bit to be desired, but ktanenoob obviously having that just big issue with cannonless.
The Bombs Fortress is basically the first stage in a Mario 64 speedrun, but it's one of the hardest. It's actually kind of crazy. In speedrunning, usually the early game is some of the hardest stuff ever. It can be attributed to multiple factors. Usually it's because, since it's earlier on, it's a little more optimized because people are there more often, but it's legitimately like harder than a bunch of other stages. So, that can be a rough thing to deal with, especially in a race. Can be off to a rough start sometimes.
Absolutely. And I mean, when you've got stuff like cannonless, which is like 2 pixels range of getting that trick, Owless, another difficult trick. I mean, such a compact stage, that 100 coin route with so many precise jumps and dives. I mean, when you leave that much technical stuff in a stage, ktanenoob taking... If anyone took a guess on that slide, guarantee you it was a tad off.
Joe Random has missed 2 coins now. Not only did he miss one of the twins and gave it up for adoption, but, also disrespecting the uncle up in the top right-hand corner.
That's not something
not a family man. Joe Random, not paying child support on his red coins, not visiting the family in their time of need. Maybe a little selfish.
Let's see if Katane is a bit better of a parent. Missing the twins, but he missed both of them. At least he's leaving them together, and that's what really matters. If you adopt just one of the twins, I mean, that's sick.
I mean, it depends. Was there another family lined up? And maybe, Joe Random, to his credit, realized there was no other family lined up for the twin there in the bottom right, and decided, you know what? I think it'd be better if we did not separate the twins here, and he went back and adopted him anyway. Joe Random, very humanitarian. I think we got to give him credit. I mean, he is in the lead. We can assume, he's a good person because he's fast. Fast people are generally good. I mean, maybe.
General rule of thumb, that's how that works.
I gotta believe in speed here as a speed running commentator.
Believe in speed. That should be our tagline. Just believe in speed.
Joe Random, doing the poverty cycle here, perhaps that extra child was a little bit too much for his payroll. Might not be able to support all of the needs of the kids. Working 2 jobs now, possibly collecting all these coins. Trying to just pay rent, living from paycheck to paycheck. It can be pretty rough.
But at the end of the day, by no fault of his own, just getting zapped by the system.
And ktanenoob, not doing the poverty cycle, not really having a problem with these red coins. Invested a little bit of extra time into the early game to go to college. That's why he's behind here right now. Maybe hoping to catch up later with his higher pay grade, but Joe Random, more kids from the wing cap stage will be able to take care of him in his retirement. This tangent, maybe a little bit too long, but a little heartwarming perhaps for some people.
Absolutely. And I mean, this whole time we're watching, some pretty violent stuff. I mean, this guy just grabbing this turtle by the tail, who, he said some harsh words to us, maybe kidnapped a princess, but I mean, have you ever seen an animal that's been grabbed by the tail? I mean, they're frightened out of their wits.
The one thing to remember is, you shouldn't try to pass judgment with your own hands or your own marshmallows if you're Mario, your own little doughboy hands. There is a court system, a legal system, maybe not in the Mushroom Kingdom though, but what gives Mario the right to judge Bowser?
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Who makes him the arbiter of justice? While Joe Random is missing that ground pound there, I mean, if he can't even get a basic ground pound like that, how are we supposed to think that he has basic morals that we should all follow?
I didn't know that ground pounding. I didn't know that ground pounding was immoral. Yeah, if you don't ground pound well, get out of my life, man. I just can't deal with it if you just can't ground pound accurately. Okay, just leave.
Now the real question, a really real question, what does the Mushroom Kingdom run off of that allows Peach to get kidnapped so often, and yet somehow without the matriarch, this kingdom is just able to run just fine?
Nice wall kicks will work. Joe Random. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. You'd think that, you know, in this big castle with a bunch of like toad butlers, they might have a little bit of security or something. I don't really know what their society's like. You know, it's okay for Italian plumbers to eat mushrooms and grow in size and then save princesses. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on here that we might not understand.
Exactly. And additionally, not exactly understanding why ktanenoob going for that beginner type setup for wall kicks will work and just generally kind of making a bit of a slow mess of it.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. At least there was no death, but maybe there's a death. Okay, no, we're fine.
Ooh, barely avoiding.
ktanenoob was barely dodging that wall there. Had to hold way back and then curve left. If Kane had touched that wall, it would have been a death. It would have been a really nasty one too. And it looks like we have CCM 17 for Joe Random.
It appears so.
Oh wait, I wasn't quite paying attention. I'm pretty sure it's 17. We'll know if there's a penguin here. Yeah, it's CCM 17 versus CCM 18. So we're gonna see some route differentials. I'm not exactly sure what combination. Oh, Joe Random falls down on the slide, taking fall damage, misses all those coins. This can be really rough. CCM does have a lot of extra coins though. Can make it up in other places perhaps, but Joe Random just opting to maybe re-enter the slide, you know, giving up on some of these coins. This is pretty rough. Maybe he grabs the star here and goes for CCM 18.
Definitely a possibility.
That's actually such a smart backup. Maybe. I'm not quite sure.
I'm thinking it is, because I mean, he had a differential of like 32 or so coins. That's kind of hard to make up without going back down the slide. And I mean, most of his coins are in the middle of the slide. You don't want to spawn that star in the middle of the slide. I think that's kind of his only option. Good thought process, though. Good quick thinking. Meanwhile, ktanenoob having a bit of issues with that quick ground pound thinking.
Safety coins from Ktane coming out. You hardly ever see that blue coin switch in the CCM 100 coin route. Oh, misses a coin on entry, but had spares. I believe had one spare. Or no, three spares? Yeah, I think 19 is the normal entry. Oh wait, had even more than that. He had like 22 before he was getting the chimney coins. I don't know. It was a lot.
Yeah, we'll have to see how exactly he ends up on this route. I'm sure he's keeping pretty good track. Missed one right there. That may be.
No, that's not a big deal. Definitely won't be missing too many from here on out.
Yeah, depending on. Okay, so he definitely came in with more coins than he needed.
Oh, a lot more. You know, when you see the blue switch come out, usually people are, you know, stockpiling coins because they're a little bit nervous they might miss them.
Yeah, very fair, and I mean, definitely smart to miss that one in that line moving to the shortcut because, I mean, getting all of those coins with the specific angle that line is and the way you're traveling. Ouch.
Yeah, that would hurt. Long jumping into a wall, face first. That would hurt.
Yeah, no thanks. I mean, do you see that momentum Mario starts out with on a long jump? Someone needs to check him for a concussion. Are his eyes moving properly?
See, you know what's really weird? Mario can long jump at super high speeds into a wall, go face first, no damage. But, you know, he touches, a mushy little Goomba a little bit awkwardly on the side, takes damage. I don't know what the difference there is.
It gets knocked right on his tush and, you know, makes that, like, loud, ugh! You know, it's a big deal to get hit by that Goomba. Meanwhile, ktanenoob, thinking that he may have left something outside of the mansion, having to go back out the door. No, having trouble with that side.
Yeah, that angle can be kind of tough sometimes, and also people are looking to hit the angle that they want for after the wall kick, you know, a little bit early, it looks like there. Okay, Joe Random going Mario Cam there. Interesting, but did not have the angle he needed. Nice backup. Thank you, Adam Ferrari, for the 2 PogChamp bits that will go right into the back pocket of GSA to add to this prize pool, I guess front pocket, because we're going to use it soon.
Yeah, I mean, front pocket or purse, for instance, or just standard wallet. Who knows? You could just carry the wallet in a side pocket if you wear cargo pants.
Darn this.
And just there seems to be a fair amount of spaghetti flying around, just in general. I mean, a lot of just small flubs in this introductory segment. Let's see if, after BBH, and especially like in the basement, generally these players can get their heads really screwed on.
Yeah, I do agree. The back pocket maybe sounds a little bit too sketchy. We're definitely, definitely front pocket, and the pockets are transparent. And thank you, Jason Dixon, for 10 more PogChamps to join. His two younger brothers from Adam Ferrari. That will also help. Bits are definitely good.
Absolutely, they make people do things, and remember, money can be exchanged for goods and services.
Yeah, and speaking of, helping out the prize pools, our sponsor, Vi.GG, they are also helping support this tournament along with the Super Metroid and Super Mario Odyssey tournament as well. So, give them a look-see over at Vi.GG. We have a link in the bio. You can do !bet in chat to click on them as well. Can bet on some of your favorite speedrunners matches here if you are in a country that it's legal in and you are of legal age. So check them out.
Absolutely. Now, okay, ktanenoob going.
Yeah,
oh, did not like that pillarless.
Yeah, just really didn't like that bomb. Just get out of my way. Maybe, not the kind of personality that Ktane wanted in a relationship.
This is very true. And I mean, noticing that early on is crucial. I mean, the longer you let something like that fester, the worse it becomes to let go.
Yeah, joerandom, finally finding himself a mate after having these two adopted twins from earlier, but having a hard time, working through some troubles to get into, the pyramid of wonders. Okay, finally in. And Ktane forced to go for the Talon backup here with the kicks, and slide off. Almost dead, but barely lives. Okay, interesting angle. That was pretty good. The slide at the end. I thought, Ktane was going a little risky there and might have done the jump and fallen into the quicksand. But that was good.
That's what I was afraid of too. We see joerandom with the actual route here, and man, that was a rough top of the pyramid for joerandom there. I don't think I've ever actually seen anyone have that much trouble clipping into that very top. I've seen people clip in and then lose the bomb.
Yeah, pillars can be like a little bit annoying sometimes. You need the right lineup and you have to jump and ground pound at the right time. It can be a little more difficult than it appears.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Ktane getting that nice second attempt at pillarless a lot faster than joerandom's attempt, and it appears that he might be 1 star ahead at the moment. Although the one that Joe's missing at the top of the pyramid. So Ktane maintaining that lead from earlier, but
it's less for sure.
Exactly. I mean, it's like that shifting sand just kind of falling through his hands.
Yeah, the pillarless fails are never very helpful in shifting sandland, and that's usually where you see the most time difference between people in basement, I'd say. Besides that, the inside of the volcano seems to be a pretty polarizing area in 70 star. The lava waterfall boost up to the star, we've seen a lot of fails there.
Absolutely, and these bullies too can provide a lot of trouble for some of our runners. Looks like joerandom taking care of them pretty handily. One of them needs a little bit of extra discipline, but ultimately he bends to his will and gives him that quick start.
joerandom, having a lot of child raising skills, has no problem teaching the bullies, what's right and wrong.
Exactly. I mean, I'm thinking he might end up taking a job as a camp counselor after he saves Peach from this castle.
Okay, interesting. Maybe so. I don't know. Ooh, Ktane with the nice ledge grab skip. Very smooth. Look at how Ktane gained on that star.
Oh man, that was executed beautifully.
Yeah, that was a lot. Thank you, Sonic Boom, for the 1-bit and Tada for the 15 bits. So much. They mean a lot. They are, going to these prize pools, helping out the runners. So you are the best.
Honestly, I mean, without y'all, we could not make the prize pools what they are. So joerandom going for his lava boost.
Yeah, with the long jump. Very nicely executed. Okay, long jump wall kick. Interesting. Almost got stuck there on the side, but yeah, very smooth.
Not even bothering to grab that pole. I mean, that's beautiful.
The long jump wall kick can get pretty scary sometimes. If you long jump a little bit too far up instead of left, what happens is you just are not able to wall kick. And if you long jump too far left instead of up, what happens is you long jump, wall kick, and then you just don't make it to the ledge at all. So It's a little less lenient than you might think just looking at it. So props to the runner there.
Yep, and we see
Kane triple jump. Yeah. This is the, you know, the more basic but reliable one. Oh, also long jump wall kick from Kane, feeling himself on the second half of the difficulty there.
Nicely executed. I mean, joerandom right now going for his own log skip and then for reds. Meanwhile,
Thank you, Jason, for the 10 bits. We are swimming in it today. Wow. Whew. Feeling like a stripper with all these donations right now.
It's a shame that the microphone can't serve as a pole.
It could. Just wait until, you know, maybe we do, you know, some kind of commentary one day in person. For enough bits, you could see something happen between me and the microphone stand. Family friendly. I meant like wire stripper. That's perfectly PG.
Absolutely. I mean, it's
yeah.
very.
You peel off the, you know, the casing on the wire, and then there's all those wires inside, and all those wires, they're like bits. Thanks for the bits, guys.
I mean, it's almost like magic. You see this shiny object coming out of this dull rubber. I mean, it's nice. And so we see the
speedrun. You know, blocking the term. You know, obviously, commentators stepping over some kind of line was, you know, coasting the edge, but past it a little bit. I'm hearing that I'm getting a warning from the staff right now. If I go too far, we might need a replacement.
And that is what we do not want at this moment. Just like, I mean, neither of these guys for sure want to be in DDD. ktanenoob opting to skip the chest for now, going for rear sub. Smart choice from him. Both these guys on emulator though, so they're not going to be eating a whole lot of lag. But, you know, if you're not super confident in your front sub abilities, I definitely don't blame you for doing it.
And Ktane will be entering in Dire Docks here with the sub already done early. Yeah, that's... Wait, did Ktane not do the chests yet here?
He hasn't yet, no.
Yeah, so... Okay, and misses Samantha rings. Could go for the chests as backup, perhaps. It could be a good call. I'm guessing that's what Ktane's game plan here is, actually. Leaves the chests for the Manta fail. It's a pretty interesting strat, but you actually lose time, real time, for doing it like this because there is extra castle movement going back into the painting for Dire Dogs, or water ripple, as you might call it. It's not really a painting.
But you know what? It was always one of my favorite entrances in the entire game. It just looks so cool, the way that the waves kind of ripple, and especially when Mario jumps in and they go off center like that. Oh, man.
All right, you know, chat, after the topic, maybe going off track a little bit, but remember, we are, you know, a very wholesome stream right now. You know, joerandom, a family man right now, showing his stuff. So it's definitely a happy stream. So everyone just be happy. Give me a smiley face in chat, maybe some clocks.
Absolutely, and smile for ktanenoob getting that Manta Ray star this time around.
Okay, joerandom, he is in fire seat. Ktane right behind. Okay, misses the long jump, but can do the instant double jump after falling off that ledge. Ktane going for the long jump wall kick now. Nails it. Okay, so it looks like joerandom's going a little too slow for lava boost. Can make the early Ellies though. And it also looks like Ktane also going a little slow for the lava boost as well. So we probably won't see much differential here between these players as long as they can make this cycle. Okay, a ground pound from joerandom, you know, not looking very wholesome on that ground pound. Like we said, you know, his ground pound morals are not quite aligned.
So, okay, ktanenoob has the opportunity for this early cycle, and he gets that early cycle. Meanwhile, joerandom having to wait around.
Yeah, that's difficult. Oh, punch and... Okay, don't dive. A lot of dust. and a burn from Ktane. Things are getting out of control here in Fire Sea. Ktane falling off a little bit early there, it seems. Can't get onto the lane. Oh, bounces away. He is living just barely. I can't believe that. If that was half a second sooner, Ktane was completely dead.
Not even half a second, just a handful of frames there. Man.
Yeah, that was a Monka S for sure. That was almost a speedrun hands. It was kind of a speedrun S for sure. A big speedrun
kind
S.
Of, yeah, big speedrun S, Pope's Monka S, just all of them.
But look at
together.
Practically synced now in Bowser 2 right now.
They're grabbing that turtle by the tail, and you can tell that he is not a leopard gecko since he does not just shed his tail.
Miss for Ktane, and Joerandom doing an interesting 2-spin throw on the Fire Sea Bowser. I never see that, but you know what, paid off. No miss there. Ktane, though, has an easy second throw. Would be really fascinating if I saw a miss there, but luckily not. Ktane had time to lock in that shot. Had the time to line it up. It was, fairly easy one.
Exactly, but I mean, this is a throw you don't want to miss. It wastes even more time than Bowser in the sky. Since Bowser's just got to come down, make sure the platform is fully level before he continues the fight. It's rough.
Thank you, Rock Chalk, for the sub, bub. Welcome to the Clock Club. And now we see these runners going into upstairs, and this is where things, start to get really saucy. Before, we've seen moments where the run can be, pretty Monka, pretty sketchy, can be really high-paced and, really cool looking. And that's been, on and off throughout the run so far, but once you're upstairs, it's just constant. You really don't have time to breathe, it seems. Especially in Wet Dry World, Mario does not have gills, so we'll have a hard time breathing in all the water.
Although in 70, I mean, not a whole lot of water. You can't drain a pool like this all the way. They did not invest in those premium pumps in the Mushroom Kingdom, but, not really having to do a whole lot of swimming here, thankfully. But
all right, Ktane grabbing that star. You know what might actually be interesting is Wet Dry World. It's just a lot of rain. I don't know.
That is a good point. I've never been able to figure out what exactly that background is.
But you touch magic crystals though, so maybe not.
Could be rain summoning crystals. Now, what I'm really looking forward to from these guys is Tall Mountain. That's really, I believe, where this run really starts to heat up. And you've got, again, like Womp's Fortress, a lot of just hard stuff. You've got that log wall kick. You've got, the mountain clip. You've got potentially breezeless if these guys decide to go for it. I mean, there's a lot that can go wrong there.
Yeah, there's a lot of falling. That's the first stage where, falling down and losing a lot of progress becomes pretty common. It happens a lot in those vertical stages. But Joerandom with a very solid 100 coin held the extra coin all the way to the end there. And Ktane with a bonk, level 1 bonk there.
Not too bad. Not exactly desirable, but you get what you get.
Yeah, bonks aren't usually desirable. I mean, they probably hurt. They definitely hurt your speed.
No doubt about that, and your soul if you are so inclined.
Okay. Yeah. I guess my soul is damaged because I've bonked a lot in my life.
Join the club, friend.
Hopefully it can be repaired. I'm not doing myself any favors by talking about that one thing, but I am making amends here. Definitely, going ham here.
I mean,
this is a speedrun dab.
I mean, if anything can fix that broken soul, it's Flex Seal.
Oh no, I like Captain Yoshi's actually theory more. Who needs a soul when you have bits? But I might actually change it a little bit. You can redeem your soul with bits. So if you care about my immortal soul or whatever, and what's gonna happen to me in the afterlife, just shower me with bits, please.
You know what? You could invest in a lot worse stuff ultimately. These guys investing a lot in Wet Dry World, and it's paying off.
Thank you, Captain Yoshi, for the 5 Frankersy bits. Yeah, this Wet Dry World's been super solid for these players. I've only seen very minor mistakes.
now we're moving into Tiny Huge Island. We're starting off with the secrets, which can
Yeah,
definitely be...
Secrets is the big daddy of THI in 70 Star.
Nice wall jump there to start off. So looking pretty solid from Joe Random. About to see ktanenoob going in. Having a little bit of an issue going into that fourth, but let's see how ktanenoob handles it.
Oh yeah, a little bit of speed struggle there from Ktane. Okay, bounces out the Goomba and a bonk on the little plank there. Manages to grab the third secret. Side flip, dive, roll out for the backup. Gonna make the approach, pretty hard for the clip here. And no clip, slides all the way down. Ktane trying to back up desperately. Makes it up finally.
Wow, that was some strange movement.
So a little bit of sauce spillage from Ktane, but managing to stop the bleeding. Patches it up. Hopefully applied some rubbing alcohol. Doesn't want infection to come back later in Tippy.
And putting on that Neosporin, remembering to change that bandage in a couple of hours, With a wound like that, you definitely want to keep it dressed properly. Meanwhile, Joe Random giving some even worse wounds to those piranha plants. Among all the professions that Mario has held, I think that Exterminator must be the one that he has the most creative approach to.
Would you
kicking
call
the plants out?
Well, it's like weed removal. Are you an exterminator if you do weed removal? Like what is the profession for that?
I mean, you're exterminating plants.
I mean, I guess they're pests, so I don't know.
Let's see, Joe Random, nice top of that mountain star. ktanenoob going in for his own piranhas. Going for those little happy kicks real quick, because, those piranhas take a sec to spawn. Gotta waste a little bit of time there.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of fun, and it's good for timing. But Mario definitely no green thumb here in THI. Comes out with a little bit of destructive force here in this stage. Could be hurting the ecosystem. Perhaps those piranha plants have, some other motive. It could be a big deal for that island. But Mario doesn't care. He just wants the stars.
Absolutely. Now, fortunately, neither of these guys giving that toad abuse. They're both just talking to him really calmly. But I do have to raise the question. Bowser specifically says he gives the power stars to his minions. So why do the toads have 4 of them?
That's an interesting question. I think maybe they could be double agents because they give the stars to you at the first possible opportunity. There's no coercion. So,
but look at that soulless face, those beady blue eyes. If you were staring into that face, would you really refuse his requests?
It would depend on the request. If it's like, hey, take this power star, I'd be like, okay. If it was, hey, give me a power star, I'd be like, no.
Fair.
But we've, been on this tangent for a little while. Joe Random really can't enter the painting again. Third try is the charm. We'll be moving on to some of the lower part of Tall Town Mountain now. It feels really good to get it over with.
No, absolutely.
Won't be having any falls. Box jump can be a little bit scary for some people, but Joe Random nailing it. Okay, not the best angle there for the long jump for Ktane, but manages to salvage it. That looks pretty close. Was in danger of going too far to the side there and not able to grab the ledge. And Joe Random really can't get back in TTM. A lot of difficulty here. We still have Tall Town Mountain red points, which can be the easiest to die on.
No doubt there. And it doesn't need to be
not a good long jump and bumps the mushroom. Joe Random, not able to eat the mushrooms, perhaps too used to pizza and spaghetti over at his place, doesn't want to ingest the fungus, decides to, just fall down instead.
Or, he could have just been trying too hard to ingest it. His mouth was in prime position to jump into that cap, so...
Well, if his mouth were open, maybe he could have chomped down on the mushroom, saved himself, but it seems like it was just close.
I think he may have just had the idea for the movement mechanic for the next Odyssey.
Yeah, Mario has a big mouth.
Yep, biting onto things now.
I don't think that's ever going to happen. I'm just thinking about it because, like Mario games can be pretty influential to younger people, and, these kids just, walk around biting things. I don't think that's a good idea.
You got kids biting like the little merry-go-rounds, swinging around.
All right, Joe Random going for the breeze here. Almost looked like he was about to. Okay, Ktanenoob going for breezeless. Let's see what's got. And that's a miss, just barely, but it was not quite good. Will not get the points for that field goal. The ball is back to Joe Random's side, and that's rough. You know, went all the way to the other team's 20-yard line, just couldn't get it between the posts.
Absolutely. Now we see them entering Snowman's Land at the moment.
Joe Random, it looked like he was definitely going for a speed kick there for the Snowman's head movement, and things are escalating out of control. The speed kick, some people might not know what I'm talking about by that, but when you have enough speed to dive in this game, it's amount of speed that you need. What you can do is you can go neutral or just barely in a direction while you land and holding A, and you press B and you kick. But Ktanenoob really struggling with Snowman's head as well. Almost goes in the E-loop practically. Really trying hard here to get up, and a little sluggish, bumps the wall again. And finally up there. Joe Random, can he hit the speed kick? Decides to double down on the speed kick. Manages to work out. Okay, goes very safe here on the ending. Will pay off a little bit. Does not manage to get up here. Sliding a little bit, jumps around. Needs to reposition himself to get up onto the head here. Ledge grab. Okay, finally, Joe Random is up there, and everything is okay. But Ktanenoob struggling to get over this little cliff here, just like Joe Random did with the hitting the spin rift. But Ktanenoob, just deciding to go for deep freeze as a backup. It's a good strat. Wow, things are really happening in SL here. We normally do not see this. Perhaps stage a little bit too icy. Players messing up their inputs. Joe Random misses his triple jump input, tries to reline it up, finally in there. And wow, I just have not seen this much spillage in SL in a long while.
Absolutely.
Ktanenoob can't get the triple jump input. Okay, does a dive. That won't work. You're going to be sliding off from that. And, okay, Ktanenoob misses the triple jump again. Okay, that's a jump dive. You're going to be going all the way in the water from that. Okay, things are happening right now. Everything is out of control. Okay, Ktanenoob with a bonk. This is insanity. Finally, has some control. Kicks. Okay. Ktanenoob finally over across the freezing pond.
I mean, they say that pond is freezing, but with how much is happening, how much spaghetti is being thrown around, I think it's boiling at this point. They're preparing that water for a nice plate of that, authentic Italian al dente spaghetti, and it's just. Man, I've never seen a Snowman's Land, which is so much going wrong for so many players.
Oh man, I'm so glad that between SL and HMC, it's just castle movement because wow, that was a lot. That was a lot. Okay, Joe Random bonking trying to catch Mips. Yeah, HMC definitely not paying off right now for Joe Random. Okay, he can't quite catch Mips. Looking like Elmer Fudd right now. Looney Tunes in play.
Finally manages to put those marshmallow mitts around him, goes ahead and pulls that star out of him. Let's see if ktanenoob manages to get that star out of Mips without quite so much animal cruelty.
Wrong long jump angle, has to readjust here. Talking with Toad again. See, I think that Toad means well, gives you the star without much talking at all. I'm not quite sure. I believe in your conspiracy theory.
Hey. I never put forth a theory. I was just stating facts.
Hey, facts. Well, one fact is Ktanenoob did just bonk on the wall trying to go to HMC. Indisputable.
And another fact is neither of these players have hit either of the Toads, thankfully.
Joe Random can't quite get on that box. He's trying again. Okay, over. Very nice. Sometimes the backup for triple box jump is harder than doing it just regularly. The camera changes just a little bit because what you do is you're in Mario Cam C down, so the camera's a little bit more analog, it seems. You can adjust, smaller amounts, and as Mario moves, the camera can change as well.
Right.
Very nice box from Ktanenoob. Good time save.
Absolutely. Both of them landing right on top of the star with that dive. Nice movement there. Now we see Joe Random going for that Christmas miracle. Let's see if he can make it happen. Oop, having to redo that setup a couple times.
Christmas not coming early this year. Joe Random trying to get the presents before the 25th. But, there's no miracles happening today. Can go out and buy his own gifts, though. He will with that kick off the wall.
I mean, with that much time lost, I'm thinking he may have to make
ground
his
pound.
own.
You know, Joe Random looking a little bit immoral again, as you say. He doesn't quite have the ground pounding figured out yet. I don't know how it's like a moral struggle, but apparently it is.
I mean, the accuracy of your angles reflects the accuracy of your character.
Oh, okay. I like that. Like the direction you face in life.
Exactly.
Electric, you know, providing some interesting, you know, life tips, some interesting philosophies on life sprinkled in, and working it into SM64 logic and terms. So I think that it's been a very good experience today. I think the chat might agree. We are all growing as people.
And that's all that ever matters. And we see neither of them getting that Toast Rider RNG on those boulders. Just really, really great.
Okay, Joe Random missing the long jump, has a tough time changing. Okay, Ktane, meanwhile, also trying to go for Toxic Maze, and he is dead. He wanted the long jump and clip there, but that really did not work out. And once you are diving on a slope like that, you are just gone.
Absolutely. Man, that is a rough death for him to take.
What's interesting is Ktane going for Toxic Maze. This makes me think that he does not want TikTok Cock 100 coin, which is actually really interesting. Really interesting. Okay, no clip from Ktane as I'm saying that. I have never seen HMC late and Toxic Maze at the same time.
Yeah, I can't say that I have either. Definitely an interesting choice on his part, but maybe, like you said, he's got that fear of TTC 100, and I don't blame him. It's scary.
It can be really scary. We've seen some crazy things happen. Like Cheese barely won over Punkation because of TikTok Clock 100 coin. Even a top player like Punke, you know, can screw it up in a race. So, you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
safety can be good sometimes. So, you know, you take that time to buckle in your seatbelt, adjust your mirrors, back up carefully, you know, look both ways before crossing the stop sign. But, you know, Joe Random, if he doesn't hit any oncoming traffic, or doesn't get pulled over by the speed police, then he's definitely reaching his destination a little bit faster. Ktane struggling a little bit, you know, transferring the movement out of the long jump there, getting stuck, and trying to make Christmas miracles happen. Looks like
getting the
goes for
ground
the
pound instead.
Yeah,
Both of these guys.
That was like an immoral ground pound. Personally, I think that was a little immoral.
Oh, absolutely. See, you're getting on board with it. And I mean, both of these guys, for some reason, opting to try to buy Christmas presents on December 24th. I mean, just a bad look right there.
All right, and Joe Random, he is opting to go for the cruiser, the humanitarian way. Does not want to bop the Lakitu. I can get behind it. It's a very nice approach. It's nice to see sometimes, you know, people take the extra time to save the animals in SM64. You know, it's commonly known as a Super Metroid kind of thing, but it's nice to see here. I would like to see donation incentives perhaps in the future for Save the Lakitus. You know, so you talk to the Lakitu at the beginning of the run, you don't bounce off of the Lakitu at all later. I think that Lakitu lives matter. LLM, I mean.
Definitely a very strong argument there. I mean, think of all the hard work that Lakitu
ground pound by Joe Random. Immoral again.
Yeah, just... I mean, that's not a good look. Going into these tricky triangles, having a bit of an issue with them. And I mean, you know, think of all the work Lakitu has to do in this speed run trying to redirect that camera. He deserves some love.
Doesn't make Lakitu bounce work. Misses the triple jump input by undershooting. His double jump was not able to take off, grab the ledge. Red's a good backup, but you usually lose about 6 seconds from that, and that can be tough because Lakitu bounce generally, unless you can do it absolutely perfect, with whatever you're doing. Okay, immoral ground pound from Joe Random. He has to run around and jump off with the flame shooter. I need to stop the comment there to commentate this. Okay, Joe Random finally figures it out. But what I'm saying is, if you fail Lakitu bounce like that once, you're actually going to be losing time unless you can pull it off perfectly the second time.
Exactly, and that's not something that you can really depend on, especially in a race like this. And I mean, with all these immoral ground pounds swinging around,
can't grab the pool.
Let's see. Okay, not quite sliding all the way off the board.
No! Oh. Okay,
Finally
grabbing the pole after much difficulty. These dough hands, perhaps buttered. You know, some people like their biscuits with butter, and they do taste good, but I'm not sure about their grip strength. Joe Random starting with get a hand. Could see some difficulty falling off, you know, going for pendulums and rolling to the cage later. I've actually heard a little bit about the mentality going into doing get a hand first. It's actually quite interesting. The thing about it is that get a hand is the star that saves the most time from the time moving triple jump wall kicks. So making sure that you get a hand out of the way first can be pretty good to make sure you get as much time saved as possible. But Joe Random, he really cannot figure out these propellers right now. Jump kicking with facing towards the wall. Okay, has to go back for this coin. Trying to line up the double jump wall kick here. Can't quite do it. Will that work? No, you're gonna be falling down. You're dying.
Oh man, that.
Yeah. See, this is what Ktane prepared for. Will not have to worry about TikTok Clock 100 coin that Joe Random is dealing with right now. We might see the comeback of the century here.
Very, very possible, because I mean, Joe Random does not look at all comfortable with those propellers. I mean, you know, very kind of stiff movement ultimately.
Yeah, the thing is about TikTok Clock 100 coin is obviously you need to be able to get a certain time to make it worth it. And yeah, not looking too good. But, you know, also Ktane opting to do Toxic Maze because thought it was safer, but ended up dying as well. We'll see how it goes. Joe Random missing a coin, though. Has to go all the way back. Okay, dive rollout. Okay, opts to completely skip the triple jump wall kick. And bad side flip angle, falling all the way down. Double fall. It looks like Joe Random maybe wasn't holding neutral there. I'm not sure. One thing, you know, a cool tip and trick to up-and-coming Mario runners, if you're falling down and, like, hitting platforms and you don't want to slide off, actually go neutral on your stick.
Very, very nice tidbit. Go ahead and write that down in your journals, folks. But man, that is a rough fall to take on that 100 coin.
Yeah.
Going down probably 2 whole levels, or at least 1.5, and that's a lot of time loss. It definitely looks like Katane in a bit of a position to catch up, but he made what I think is a kind of questionable decision to grab the Toad before going into TikTok Clock. So
well, it's okay. Ktane, what just happened? He's dead. Working on some movement here. Just completely misses the long jump wall kick. Things are so spicy in TikTok Clock right now. I am really happy to be born today.
Absolutely. I'm very happy that this level has the music it does, because it's just the perfect complement to this level of spaghetti tossing.
One thing to note here is, though it might seem that Joe Random is behind, he is actually ahead. He is doing Toad after TikTok Clock, from what I can tell. And Toad before TikTok Clock is actually only barely slower than Toad after TikTok Clock, and only if you can nail the cool movement from Toad to Sky. So it doesn't really impact much. But it's just a cool thing to note. And no ground pound from Joe Random. See, he ground pounds where he shouldn't, and he doesn't where he should.
Exactly. I mean, it's just
very really disagreeable. Riots being formed right now. Protests in the streets. I think that the Speedrun chat is a little upset right now. Ktane eating his ice cream cone from bottom up.
Ooh, and that is not the way you want to be seen eating it, especially in public. And I mean,
I'm hearing comments in chat from twitch.tv/speedrun. That is my birthday today. In fact, it is not. That is a untrue statement, but I am willing to accept cake. And we're going to see some cake when Joe Random or Ktane finishes.
And I mean, they could also be just slightly confusing you with ZFG. He did turn 12 today.
Okay, you know, that is a classic meme being thrown out.
You always got to hit him with the oldies.
Yeah, well, memes are great.
Of course, I mean, otherwise this community wouldn't exist.
Okay, Joe Random also eating his ice cream from the bottom up.
Oh no, just going past that star, having to waste a few seconds just to get back to it, man. So Joe Random just has one more left in TTC. Meanwhile, ktanenoob going to go for... What star is he going for now?
Okay, no wall kick from Ktane here. Struggling a little bit, going for the Stomp on the Thwomp by itself. Stomp on the Thwomp by itself is actually, like, pretty hard. And misses the ground pound. A little immoral.
Definitely some kind of strange movement overall. Like, definitely, I feel like TTC 100 is a great complement for Stomp on the Thwomp. And it's just kind of a shame that there's not really anything super viable to replace Stomp on the Thwomp with if you decide not to do TTC 100.
You can do Tiny Huge Island red coins, but I don't know why you would do that because I feel like it's riskier.
Right, and you have to do it, I think, perfectly in order for it to save time.
Well, you would lose time just by not doing TikTok Clock 100 coin, but yeah, most people don't actually have amazing THI reds, so the substitution doesn't really work out. But Joe Random entering Sky here, Ktane, just a little bit of castle movement behind. We could see anything happen right now. We've seen some crazy stuff happen in Tippy. We are one, triple jump wall kick fail apart between these two runners, or, a Bowser throw or two. Safe triple jump dive from Joe Random, does not want to fall, but the safer you play, the more your opponent can catch up to you, and then when you do a mistake...
Katane having a death right at the beginning. I mean, he's already starting behind. That's something he cannot afford. Pull out your clocks, chat.
Oh, and a bog. Just insult to injury right now. That's really rough. Joe Random going for the pull, ledge grab, just to add a little bit of extra time, just in case.
Okay, I mean, playing it safe, he must be watching the stream a little bit, or just must know that he has that slight advantage over Katane at the moment. Just wanting to go ahead and get to those throws as quickly as possible.
Tony Hawk
taking the
points
grind.
Joe Random, he just really wants to flex here, grinding yet again. That will combo.
Oh no, I
can't quite get off the elevator. Oh, backflip. Okay, and then a side flip. Joe Random just doing some extra moves to combo the double grinds together. I think that's good for about 10,000 points. I don't know what that awards him, but it might not be enough.
Okay, Joe entering right at 53. Looks like Katane going to be entering somewhere around 53.15, give or take.
Okay, and level 4 bonk. Honestly, that was crazy.
It's just level Omega bonk. I don't think I've ever seen one that huge.
Yeah, that was some next level sauce. That was like a Super Saiyan bonk.
Okay, so Joe with 2 successful hits. If he lands his third one, it's all okay. Joe
Random
clenches this race just by the skin of his teeth. Those
like I said, slugfest. Gloves were off. Below the belt shots.
I mean, there was supposed to be a referee here, but he left the call nearly immediately. Just could not handle what was going on here. Had never seen a race like this. Joe Random winning with a 53-46. Meanwhile, ktanenoob close behind with
only
a
like
54.
14 seconds behind. That was so crazy. And when was the last time you guys saw a race where both runners hit all 3 throws? I don't know.
It's been a while. It certainly has.
Wait, so if there was no death from ktanenoob, how close would that have been? That would have been like to the second, practically. Insane.
If not just going straight up in his favor. I mean, I'm not sure. It definitely probably lost him at least 10 seconds taking that death there. If he didn't take the Hazy Maze Cave death, that definitely would have gotten him the W. But
so, we unfortunately do not have enough time for the post-race interviews today. We have to get started on our next match soon, but it was a great match. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. ktanenoob and Joe Random throwing out some serious sauce today, so follow their channels for sure. And we will be back soon after a short intermission, but also shout out again to vi.gg for the sponsorship and everyone. You could have bet on this exciting race if you sign up. And it's been great, and we will see you guys soon.
Absolutely, and Pity, it's been a pleasure commentating with you. And like he said, stick around, guys. Another round coming just in a minute. I will be commentating along with Simply for that round, so don't go anywhere. Just